Hello and welcome back to another episode of Math with Son. Today we're going to be tackling all of the triangle congruencies besides hypotenuse leg. So let's get into it. There are 4 different congruency statements. We got side, side, side if all three angles or all three sides are the same. Side, angle, side if the angle in between is the same. Angle, side, angle where the side in between is the same, and then angle, angle, side. So when we're doing this, we are looking for two things that are not okay: angle, side, side, and angle, angle, angle. Those are the two to be on the lookout for. If you see those two, then this is not a congruent statement. So here we have an angle and we have a side. So it's going to either be side, angle, side, or angle, side, angle, maybe angle, angle, side. We also have this shared side in the middle. So that's one right here. So here, what do we got? We got angle, we have a side, and then we have another side. Is the angle physically in between these two sides? And the answer to that is no. And because of that, we have angle followed by two sides, which is not a congruency statement. All right, number 2, we got an angle, we have a shared side in the middle. So that shared side in the middle is in between these two angles, so that means that this is angle, side, S in the middle, angle. Number 3, another shared side in the middle, this side right here. So on this one we have one side, two side, three side. On the other triangle we have one side, two side, three side. This is side, side, side congruency. For this one we have an angle, we have a side, and then we can fill in a vertical angle, these two angles across from each other. So we have two angles and a side. Is the side physically in between the two A's, or is it afterwards? So is this side in between the two angles? It is, ladies and gentlemen. So that is angle, side, angle. Moving right along. On this one we got an angle and we got a side. And on this one we got an angle and we got a side. Angle side with nothing else is not congruent. You need at least 3 things for it to be considered congruent. Number 6, we got our vertical angle here and here. So we have an angle, a side, and an angle. Is the side in between the two angles? Yes, it is. Is it the same for the other triangle, angle, side, angle? Yes, it is. All right, moving on. We got side, angle in between, side. Starting from kind of like this bottom part here, side, angle in between, side. So this one's side, angle, side. But what about this one? We got a side, and then a side, and then an angle. The angle isn't physically in between. If it was here, we'd be good to go, but it's not. So this one's angle, side, side. Those two don't match up, and if they don't match up, they are not congruent. Number 8, we got a side, 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 we got a side. That is side, side, side if I've ever heard of it. Got a few more before we get to the phase 2 of this lesson. This one we got vertical angle in between for number 9. We got side, angle in between, side. What about the bottom triangle? Side, angle in between, side. They are both side with an A in between, so SAS. And lastly, number 10, we got this shared side right here. We have one side, two side, three side, one side, two side, three side. That is side, side, side congruency, my friends. All right, the next phase of this is going to be dealing with problems where you are given a little bit of information, but you need to complete the congruency with angle, side, angle, or side, angle, side, or yada, yada. All right, so here we have an angle provided. We have a shared side here. If we want to complete angle, side, angle, we need the angle to be having the side in between the two angles. So that would mean that the two angles would have to be here and here for that side to be in between it. So I've marked the angle. Here we have an angle, shared side, angle. Angle, shared side, angle. Okay, so we need angle U to be equal to angle U, but you can't just say that. It's going to have to be angle DUT must be congruent to angle SUT. Make sure you're going in the same order. That way it kind of has cohesion and it is a congruency statement. So we went from the bottom to U to T, then we went from the top to U to T, following that pattern, so to speak. Let's try the next one. We got side, angle, side here. We have a shared side. We have the 90-degree angle. If it needs to be side, angle, side, that angle has to be in between two sides. So that would be here. See how here I have a side, angle in between, and then the other side. So that would be angle, not angle, side, WV must be equal to, congruent to, KX on the other triangle, because it's kind of like this short side. It's going to be that short side right there. Next one, side, angle, side. This one's an easier one. We got a side, we have an angle. We need the other side, which would be this one right here for that angle to be in between the two S's. So here we have a side, we have the angle. We need the other side to be right there. So I'm going to go C to A, must be congruent to L to J. And in both of these cases, I went from top to bottom, but I could have gone from A to C and J to L. That would work as well. Angle, side, angle. We got an angle. We need a side in between, and then an angle. Angle, a side in between, and then an angle. So this time, it's this side over here because that's where the two angles are. So that's going to be side DE. Let's do it up here. DE must be congruent to side JK. Got just a few more and we're going to be done for the day. We got side, angle, side. We have a side provided. We have an angle provided. We need that other side. Not only do we need that other side, we need it to be having the angle in between it. So that's why I put that side right there. And if I need the angle to be in between two sides, I have this side on the left side of the right side of this angle. I need the other side to be on the left side of that angle. So now that angle is physically in between two sides. So I'm going to say TS is congruent to JI. And I went from the T, which had no angle, to the angled mark S. See how S has that angle mark? So I went from J back to I with that angle marked I. Here we go. Angle, side, angle. We got an angle. We have a side. We need another angle, and that other angle has to have the side in between it. So that's why I marked angle L. And that means that I'm going to be marking angle T as well, because that would make the side physically in between the two. So angle L must be congruent to angle T. You could also say STU and MLK for the two angles. But because angle L and angle T are by themselves, there's no other like splice to them, then I don't have to use the proper three-letter term for it. 17, shared side. We want this to be side, side, side. So what side on both triangles aren't marked? That would be RS and QD. So R to S must be congruent from Q to D. Did I mark it correctly? Let's see. R to S went from like the top part down to here. Q isn't really the top part down to here. So it shouldn't be Q to D. It really should be D to Q. That way we're going from the bottom, like top pointy part outside towards the center of the figure. Okay, so that's how we deal with that. RS must be congruent to D to Q. That would be the appropriate way. And now we have our last one. We got our vertical angle. We're looking for side, angle, side. We have a side provided. We need the angle to be in between the two sides, which means that it's going to be W to V, and from V to M. W to V must be congruent to V to M, or should it be M to V? We went from outside to inside. We need to go from outside, which is M, to inside. That's going to do it for this one. Until next time, everybody, stay positive, and I will see y'all later. Bye.